Welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home. My name is Rod McCall.
And I'm Scott Nichols.
Well, are you ready to go back to school?
I mean, it's coming. I got another week or so.
Times like now, it's kind of like it'd be cool to be back in the Northeast when they don't go to school till after Labor Day in September.
I mean, you say that, but I would have been still going to school at the end of June. And I'm not down for that. I mean, when I went to Florida at the end of this school year, it was literally the last week of May. That I got to go to Florida and hang out. And so that's before all the people from the North go down there to do that. So, six, one half dozen the other, right?
Well,
I go to school earlier, but it's also, Texas heat in August and September is atrocious. So I'd much rather be in air conditioning anyways.
True.
So I feel bad for the students that are out there and even at 7 in the morning, or 6 in the morning
football.
in Texas working on football and all that. So, and they're doing that now. So it's just, wow. It's too hot for me. I love heat, but I like the air conditioning. And by this time of summer, I'm looking forward to go back to work.
Yeah. There's something about not working. Well, and I say it's not working. We as teachers, and I'll still throw myself in that category, even though I'm technically no longer employed by the school district. The summers are not a total vacation. There's a lot of work and learning that goes on, a lot of behind the scenes activities that take place. So it's not a true vacation, where you're not working entirely. So,
but who is happy about school restarting?
Mom and Dad.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yes.
So, I think that maybe that has something to do with what we're going to talk about.
Well, it is. It really is. And I think it comes down to a problem that I think every parent, every adult has in talking with kids, whether it's their own children, nieces, nephews, whoever it might be.
Sure.
So I'll start with the question. How easy was it for you to visit with your kids on a regular daily basis that would get more than yes, no, or single word answers?
Wow. Pre-smartphones, since we crossed over during that time in teen years,
yes,
that was super easy.
Okay.
We'd just have dinner.
Okay.
And you'd spend time that way. Or we'd go outside. We went out and did a lot of things together often. But having kids come back from school and finding out what they did for the day, it was pretty simple. I think post smartphone, with my two older children, it wasn't such a big deal because they didn't get addicted to it right away.
Okay.
And they were graduated only a couple of years into the smartphones being around. But
okay.
My younger one, I think it became a lot more difficult. She got a smartphone earlier than the others did, and spent a lot more time on it with her friends, and got into a lot of situations that, while I knew about them, maybe I didn't know about all of them.
Okay.
I'm learning now, but it was a lot more difficult, I think. And I think technology adds a layer of difficulty to this problem.
Okay. Well, I will say that you mentioned, I don't want to dive into cell phones.
No, we've done that before.
I've seen an article, or I've seen a news thing where a guy was saying that we need to treat cell phones, kids' cell phones usage as an addiction. Treat it like you would drugs or alcohol or any other form of addiction.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I ran across an article by a lady by the name of Amy Morin.
Okay.
Now, she is a licensed clinical social worker and author of 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do. Okay. And in there, she was saying, how to talk to your kids, how to engage with young people in such a way that you get more than 1-2 word answers. You can actually engage. You can visit with them about, what's going on with them.
Right.
To open dialogue,
Yes.
I guess, is a better way. Because I think one of the first things we do when we see our kids, especially at the end of the day during the school year, is, hey, how was your school day? Fine. What'd you do at school today? Nothing.
Yeah.
Did you talk to anybody? No. I mean, you ask, now granted,
Sure.
those are closed kinds of questions. And so one of the things that she's talking about is how to ask more open-ended questions. So so when you see your kids, maybe, it's, still summertime in different parts of the country still. So maybe they went to summer camp. All right. Or they went to sports camp, or they
Sure.
went to something, or you were at work and they were hanging out with, family, friend, relative, who knows, babysitter, whatever it was. But you can start by saying, instead, hey, how was your day? Ask them instead, so what was the best part of your day today?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a way of asking them to talk about their day with the potential, you're going to get more than just a one-word response.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I was
You
thinking.
don't like my one-word response?
I was. So what has been the best part of your day today so far, Mr. Nichols?
I mean, I got up early. I did some work before we came to do the podcast in the studio, and I just I felt very productive this morning. Of course, I'm not actually working, so that helps because my to-do list is limited. But I feel good about my day. I think I've had a good day. How about you?
Well, I didn't have any clients today, so I got to sleep a little later, but wanted to get up and moving around early, get here since we met here at the studio this morning, a little
Sure.
early, wanted to avoid traffic because God knows the 5.5 million people that call DFW home all seem to be in my way. But anyway.
I mean, they're going to work.
Okay.
See, in our defense, we're not. But yeah, I think that, asking that open-ended question is really good, right? And your kids are getting those kind of questions in school, hopefully open-ended questions to make them think critically about things. So, asking some open-ended questions should elicit a more detailed response, at least with a yes and a few more words. But, this comes back to me as we talked about communication last time in our relationship with our partner or spouse, and the communication also needs to take place between you and your children, right?
Sure.
And it can't just be one way. So you have to work to try to get that communication going.
Sure. And I think it's harder now. I think a lot of parents do a lot of good things in helping keeping their children active, engaged in variety of stuff, from sports to music to who knows. But the downside is I think it's harder for a lot of families to have, I know it was in ours, to have that sit down family meal where you gather around the dining room table, phones are put away, and you just have a conversation.
Yes.
That's how I grew up. That's not how
Well, it was easy because you didn't have phones. There was
no phones, no
it was
TV.
on the wall, so you
Yes.
didn't have to put the phones up.
Exactly.
They were already up.
And so I think, the idea though today with so many parents, so many families on the run, I hear that time and again from my students through the years that they're busy 6 days a week.
Yes.
And so finding ways to engage dialogue, conversation with our kids requires a little more cleverness on our part. So another thing you can ask, or another way to elicit response, is, did anything surprise you today? Or maybe a more open-ended question of, what surprising thing happened to you today?
Yeah. Or, there's probably something that surprised people during the day.
Oh, absolutely.
I guarantee you that the kids are sharing something surprising with their friends.
Uh-huh.
So hopefully that whatever that is, they can also share it with you.
Yeah.
And if they don't have anything, I don't know, maybe that's a red flag. But you know, you definitely whatever it takes to open up those lines of communication. So whatever, something surprise them. Find out what that is, and that probably connects to something that they're passionate about.
One of the things that I've noticed, you and I have talked about this on multiple occasions, both on and off air, is how use of cell phones makes kids less aware of both their physical surroundings as well as they're limiting their social skills.
Yeah.
They're great at texting, but talking one-on-one or in small groups is more of a challenge. And so one of the things, another question that Amy had come up with was asking your children, so who are you proud of today?
Yeah.
Because her reasoning for that one was saying it can help generate social skills. It can also help develop empathy as well as, possible excitement for somebody other than themselves.
Yeah.
That, hey, somebody had their birthday today, so we sang a happy birthday to them. Or, Sam, who never gets to pull out of the treasure box, got to pull out of the treasure box. I was so excited for him,
Yeah.
something of that sort, something that can, again. But on that same vein, she also says another good question to ask is, when did you feel proud of yourself today? And I really like that because I think kids, and I have a nephew that is going into 6th grade and trying to visit with him. Very, very sharp, very smart kid. He's in the GT program, but he has a hard time communicating. Trying to get him to open in dialogue has proven to be a challenge even for me.
Yeah.
And so I like this question, and honestly, I haven't tried that with him recently, so I may have to. But I think it's a powerful question.
I mean, those are good things. And all of these open-ended questions are great. I think one of the things about communication in general is there has to be a level of trust and respect if communication is going to flow freely, right?
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that's important, and one of the things that was important for me with my kids, and somewhat even now, is, when I'm going to open up a dialogue with you and you're going to tell me things, I'm not going to take that and turn around and have some kind of punitive action against you or,
oh yeah,
do something like that. Are we going to address the issue? Sure. But I had my kids tell me things that were not great. Right? And, I didn't necessarily punish them for it because they were telling me. I'd rather have them tell me. If they're not going to tell me and I'm going to find out from somebody else, that might be a different story.
Sure.
But I want you to be honest with me. I want you to, be honest and open, and then we can work it out. And that's easier from that perspective to get them to see a different point of view rather than coming down authoritarian and
sure.
Like you confessed, so now I'm going to, now we're going to punish you.
Yeah.
So it has to be a safe place.
Well, and one of the things that I like about the question of what did you do to feel proud of yourself today helps encourage them to feel proud of themselves, to foster confidence.
Yeah.
And it can reinforce good behavior.
Yeah.
Which, when you're talking, Sherry said, we've talked many times that sometimes she felt like her kids shared too much. It's kind of like, TMI. But better too much than not enough.
And I think pride has a different level for different people, right? I mean, there's some kids that would be in anguish over getting a B on a paper, and others would be elated. Yes, to do the same. So, you got to know where your child is at in that spectrum, and celebrate appropriately, or minimize. Right. So if they're I don't have anything proud today. I got a B on a paper and I'm really depressed. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a B, right? Like
Sure.
It's above average.
Well,
So, you can celebrate still, while also saying, it's okay. You can, if you want to do better, you can do better next time.
and that's what I like. One of the other things that she comments or questions asked is, well, what's something that you could have done that would have made today even better?
Sure.
Because now let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, okay, you got to be. You feel upset. Why do you feel upset? Let's explore that. Well, what could you have done differently?
I think one of the dangers in our society that I've seen as a teacher, and I know you have as well, is that a lot of kids are trying to be up there, all the way up there, all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just not a reality, right? I mean, I've got kids. My wife talks about it for elementary school. Like, if your kid starts out the year in fourth grade with an A, I mean, just everything's an A.
Mm-hmm.
Are they learning anything?
Uh-huh.
Right? Like, you've got to work up to that knowledge, right? I mean,
Mhm.
if you're getting A's on everything all the time, maybe you should just skip a grade. I don't know.
Well,
Right? Like, maybe you have those skills already. So
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
just everybody's got to be learning, and learning comes through failure. So not everything can be rosy
sunshine and daffodils.
mountaintop experiences
Mhm.
every moment.
Mhm.
And I think that's one of the things that kids don't get to see. They think that when they hit that bottom, what they think is a bottom, which we know is
Not.
nothing, right?
Uh-huh.
But when they hit that low point, they think it's the end of the world,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a learning experience. And so we've got to find ways to celebrate the successes, as we talked about, with them, and we've got to find ways to minimize and redirect them to that learning.
Well,
that growth.
as you say that, then maybe this would be a fantastic way to address that with another question that Amy came up with, and that is, what was the most interesting thing you learned today? Maybe instead of focusing on the grade, let's focus on the knowledge and ask them. Ask them, again, this very question of what was the most interesting thing you learned today,
Yeah,
and focus on information learned.
sure. I mean, I think that's a great way to look at it. I think that interesting leads them to something that they are interested in, for
Mhm.
one. So you can find out more about what they like.
Yeah.
Because they might not be as interested in their science class as they are hopefully in their social studies class.
Well, yeah.
So but and you notice I left off math because
Uh-huh.
my daughter teaches geometry. So
yeah.
but and I love geometry, right? I mean, it's all about the shapes. So but you find out what they're interested in, and I think the what was the most interesting thing, or even the question of what did you struggle with today,
Mhm.
or okay, it doesn't, that neither of those points to them, an identity thing for them, as far as success or even a pride. It's just more like, what do you intellectually, what are you finding interesting or a struggle? And they can define what those things are to them for themselves. I mean,
Sure. And I think that as a parent, a lot of times our kids' interests change or shift, and we may not be aware of it. So,
I mean, heck, mine have throughout my whole life. I've had like 27 different kinds of jobs.
well, yeah. Yeah. And so what I like about the way this can be utilized is allowing, yes, us as parents, us as the adults that care about this person, this child, these children.
Yeah.
Well, what is their, today it's this, but tomorrow it could be something else.
Yeah.
And so it allows us to stay abreast of the changes in their lives.
Yeah. And you want to have that conversation. You want to find out as much as you can without sitting down to have a formal interview.
Yeah, I like the way you say that, formal interview. Try to avoid that.
Yeah.
Well, something that I think all of us adults want to do or would like to do is to help foster a nurturing component within our kids. And one of the things that one of the questions that was phrased here was, who were you kind to today? And I like that because it allows our children to, well, it encourages them to develop empathy, kindness, maybe even some generosity.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear so many times, kids need to learn this at school or learn that at school. And some of it I go, that's not the job of school. That's our job as adults responsible for children at home. Mm-hmm. And so this is an easy thing I feel we as adults could do at home and just ask.
I think there's a social aspect to school that definitely is something that is the job of school. But I mean, on the kids need to be kind. Mm-hmm. In this world we live in, where social emotional has become a term that we address all the time. I mean, and I got to tell you, social media is not kind.
No,
at all. Back in our days as teenagers, we had magazines.
Yeah.
That would depict all sorts of falsehoods. That often kids ended up struggling with, mostly girls. Mm-hmm. And it's the same kind of stuff, but now it's transitioned to videos and all kinds of things that they're getting hammered on that are negative. And so, finding ways to having them look and see, where there was kindness in their day and were they kind, I think is important, right? That empathy is important, and that practicing kindness is important, especially if you want to receive it.
Yeah, you have to give in order to receive.
So,
and again, I think that it's easy to overlook as a parent. And so I think this is a very simple way to help encourage, develop, or foster this kind of wish that we would have for our kids.
But, I mean, look, we're all busy, right?
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, the world that we live in is super busy. And to even stop at the end of a day and have this conversation with your child, for a lot of people, that's going to take putting it in a planner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
Yeah.
Not so much for the kid necessarily, hopefully.
Yeah.
But for you, I mean, you're going to need to make it a priority, right? In order to make sure that you do this. And I think it's just a function of adulthood that we've had to come down to that idea of priority and everything. Did we talk to our kids? No, we didn't talk to our kids. I didn't have time. All right. Did you not have time?
Or you didn't make time?
Or did you not? Or was it not a priority for you?
Well, and I think that...
Because whatever you did do with that time turns out to be your priority. And so we might need to reorganize.
You bring up something that is, I think, a valid point, is that when we talk to our children, it doesn't have to be a litany of interrogation type questions. It doesn't have to be all of these. I've got a couple more that I want to do yet. But I think that if you just pick a couple, and you do different ones, different days, and you say, hey, I want you to put your phone down while we are sharing this Chick-fil-A meal very quickly as we're going from school to practice. Or at the end of the day, we finished our basketball game and we're headed home at 9:30 at night.
Yeah.
Put your phone away, and we're going to take a few minutes and we're just going to converse.
And I think that's what I'm getting at, is that this could be a 15 or 20 minute thing, but for a lot of people, a lot of adults busy in the world, 15 or 20 minutes is tough to find. But if you make it a priority, you'll find it. And that's important.
So I got two more I want to go through, and I think I've saved maybe two of the best for last. And they include, what is something new that you would like to try at school?
Okay.
And I like that because it's a little bit of forecasting. It's getting them to think of something. Instead of a reporting, we're now considering, we're pondering.
Well, certainly this is a good time for that because, we're at the end of July and we're looking at
School starting.
beginning either very soon or in the next month or so.
Yeah.
And, there's clubs, especially for middle school and high school students. There's other extracurricular activities in a lot of elementary schools.
Yeah.
There's, which this could turn into, kind of which subject are you more interested in? All kinds of things like that. And finding out, what do they want to do?
And the last one I want to cover, because I know we're pushing our time limit here, but what's a mistake that you learned from today? And I really like that because it helps us, as you were talking before about grades. Well, I have to have that A. Well, it shouldn't be about the grade. It should be about the knowledge gained.
Yeah.
And that's something that we as parents can help address in our children is push the knowledge gained rather than the grade earned.
Right.
And you and I know from tons of experience that some of the best lessons learned come from our mistakes.
They do. And it could be a mistake. It could be a struggle. It could be, but identifying something where you could have done better I think is important.
Well, and I think one of the things that I've noticed, especially in my young nephew who is going into the 6th grade, he has a hard time losing. And it's kind of like, okay, let's rephrase this from a loss to a learning experience. What did you learn?
Right.
And I honestly will start using this question with him on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
As we go forward, because we play a lot of games together. He's one of the few that actually likes to play games with me, board games, card games, you name it.
Sure.
But he gets very emotional when he loses.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good time. But again,
and you mentioned games, and I think that's a great thing, right? Like, I mean, we could probably talk a whole episode about it, but game night. Right. I mean, there's an opportunity to open up, to hear some things in a safe, light environment where you play a board game. I suppose you could do video games, like some of the video games have, 8 people you can play.
True.
But I happen to like, we still get together with our kids and try to do it once a month and do game night. And play board games and card games and, whatever the latest game that you can find on the Target game shelf.
Yeah.
Play one of those and have a good time with it. And throughout that, you'll find out there'll be other conversations that take place. Oh, I did this today, or I did that, or, I found out about this, or, whatever it might be. And I think that those are great times of relating and communicating.
I totally agree. And I'm glad you brought that up because that's the last thing that Amy talks about is choose your time wisely.
Yeah.
Some tips that she gives. Again, choose your time wisely, but listen.
Yeah.
Listen to understand. She says, don't be quick to give advice and model it. Model what you want by sharing your day.
Yeah.
Share with them some of these same things. And
I think that's important, right? Share your stuff first. Hey, here's something that I struggled with today. Did you ever struggle today?
What did you struggle with? Yeah. And so anyway, again, fascinating stuff. I think that as we develop our comfort with ourselves, we can develop this better communication with our children. And
yeah, I agree.
When we do, I've seen, Sherry did a lot of this with her kids, and they still have a very strong relationship, even though they're in their mid to late 20s, both of them. And I know my parents did, and well, I'm not in my mid to late 20s anymore, and I still talk with my mom on a weekly basis.
Sure.
So anyway,
all right.
Well, again, I hope that these can be of value as relationships with our children are super, super important.
And again, as the listeners out there, I mean, are you struggling with some of these things? Do you have different ideas? Is there something that is successful for you in communicating with your children? I mean, we'd like to hear. Let us know. Give us a shout out, a comment.
Please.
Check on the app that you're using. There's some communication tools there for you. So get in touch.
All right. Well, then I guess we'll wrap it up for today. So until next time, I'm Rod.
I'm Scott.
See ya.
Bye-bye.